Title: Abduction. Author name: M. Aishvarya. Dolly opened her eyes and sat up. She found herself on the floor. A chain was tied around her neck. The other end of the chain had been tied to the foot of a bed. She was getting ready to stand up from the floor. "That bed is for me," said a male voice. Dolly looked at the direction of the voice. She found Rohit. He had occupied a chair and was sitting in front of a laptop that was open on a table. "You?" said Dolly. "That's your bed?" "Why?" replied Rohit, looking at the laptop. "If it's your bed, then I'm better on the floor," said Dolly angrily. She looked at her hands and found a cut mark on her right hand. "Injury mark on the right hand?" said Dolly to herself. She then spoke in a loud voice. "Someone had already made an attempt to bleed me to death by making a cut on my hand." Rohit ignored the shout. "You have already made an attempt to kill me, and there you sit silently as if you do not know anything?" continued Dolly. Rohit picked up his phone call. "It is time for the dose." A lady entered the room. Rohit walked up to Dolly. "Don't touch me! Don't touch me!" shouted Dolly. "Punch!" Rohit hit the head of the girl. Everything went dark for her. Hours later, Dolly opened her eyes slowly. She sat up on the floor. She found herself in new clothes. There was a plate full of food and a glass of water in front of her on the floor. New clothes? Who changed my clothes? Asked Dolly to herself. She found Rohit sitting in a chair and operating a laptop on a table. "You changed my clothes?" asked Dolly. "Did you fulfill your desire of having a proper look at every part of my body?" The girl was taunting Rohit. Rohit was simply silent. "Oh, kidnapper! I'm talking to you!" shouted Dolly. "I did the right thing by rejecting you back then. At that time, you were a loose character and now a kidnapper. Who knows? You must be a rapist also." Rohit was taking deep breath to control his anger. Dolly looked at the wall. There was a portrait of a girl hanging on the wall. "Who is this girl? Is she one of your victims? Murderer?" Dolly kept taunting Rohit. Rohit did not react. "You have given food and water to impress me? Am I right, Dumbo?" said Dolly. She kicked the food plate. The plate slipped on the floor and hit the foot of Rohit. "I will neither eat nor drink," shouted the girl and splashed the water in the glass towards Rohit. Some splash of water drenched his shirt. As if this was not enough, Dolly threw the glass at Rohit. It hit him on his arm. Rohit stood up from the chair and eyed at Dolly in anger. "Show your temper to someone else, bloody kidnapper!" shouted the girl. Rohit left the room. A few moments later, Dolly began to crawl back towards the wall with a horrified expression on her face. Rohit was walking slowly towards her. In one hand, he had a bucket and in the other, a matchstick. "No! No! Don't come near me! No!" said Dolly, crawling back as Rohit advanced towards her. Rohit poured the fluid in the bucket on her. The girl was completely drenched. She looked at Rohit in horror as he ignited the matchstick and threw it towards her. The girl screamed as the matchstick came flying towards her. She remained screaming for some seconds with her eyes closed. She opened her eyes slowly and looked at the matchstick. The fire had died out and the stick was lying near her. She began to smell the fluid that had drenched her clothes. Remain silent, or else the next time it will be a different kind of fluid in the bucket, warned Rohit. Yes, burn me. You have already kidnapped me. If that will fulfill your lust, then burn me. What else can be expected of people like you? Just because a girl says no to you, you people kidnap her, kill her, burn her, just to satisfy your ego, shouted Dolly and began to weep profusely. Rohit kept standing and looking at Dolly for some time before leaving the room. Later that night, Dolly was asleep on the floor. The door opened. Rohit walked up to the bed to which Dolly had been tied. He lifted the girl from the floor and then put her on the bed. He sat beside her on the bed. He had a water bottle. He splashed water on her face. The girl woke up. You, said Dolly. Now, don't yell at me, said Rohit. You attempted to kill me. You have tied me in chains and then you want me to behave normally? Wah! Tell me the truth. You're torturing me because I rejected your advances back then. Am I right? Asked Dolly. Before I answer your questions, can you tell me a thing? You had run away with Rakesh from your home. Then how did you end up in the house where my gang found you yesterday? Asked Rohit. You became a thief. After this much education, you became a thief, kidnapper, rapist, criminal. Shame on you, said Dolly. Just tell me what I asked. If you had run away with Rakesh, then what were you doing in that house? Asked Rohit. Dolly looked sad. I was working as a housemaid in it, said Dolly. So you ran away from your family and everyone in order to be a housemaid? Asked Rohit. So what? I'm not a thief like you, criminal. Dolly shot back. You will not understand what I am, said Rohit. Now, tell me how you ended up becoming a maid. Dolly looked sad. What happened? Insisted Rohit. The one with whom I had run away turned out to be a cheat. His name was not Rakesh, said Dolly. Then what was it? Asked Rohit. I do not even want to tell what all things he did with me, replied Dolly. What did he do? Asked Rohit. Tortured me and auctioned me off. And the result was I ended up becoming a housemaid, Dolly replied. I need not ask what happened further because I found you as a housemaid only, said Rohit. He picked up the food plate from the floor and put it on the bed. Now open your mouth, I will feed you. Dolly kept looking at him. What happened? Asked Rohit. You are feeding me with food mixed with poison because I rejected you back then, said Dolly. Hey Bhagwan, what a girl. Why will I want to kill you? Reacted Rohit. And what are you doing during daytime? You were threatening to burn me with petrol, Dolly reminded. Did I really pour petrol on you? You were shouting at me, for which I got angry, and all that happened, Rohit explained. Rohit ate the first morsel of food. Now do you believe that I'm not going to poison you? Asked Rohit. Dolly kept looking at him. Rohit gave her food with his hand. The girl ate. Don't think you have impressed me with this. Remember, Dolly reminded the boy. Why will I even think of making a relationship with a housemaid? Rohit taunted the girl. Aye, don't call me housemaid, thief, responded Dolly. Housemaid, said Rohit. Thief, said Dolly. Housemaid, said Rohit. Thief, said Dolly. Will you eat quietly or will I have to thrash you to eat? Asked Rohit. Tell me a thing. Who is this girl? Asked Dolly, pointing her finger at the portrait on the wall. This girl has been missing for a year now. We are trying to find her, said Rohit. You are a thief. Why are you searching for this girl? Asked Dolly. I am not a thief. We are mercenaries here, explained Rohit. What does that mean? Asked Dolly. Just like the girl in the image there, many dumbheads run away from home. Their families come to us to find them, explained Rohit. But why were you stealing into the house where I was? Asked Dolly. We were paid for it, Rohit replied. Oh, Dolly reacted. Do not talk much, just eat, said Rohit, feeding Dolly. But I do not love you, said Dolly. I am not interested in a lowly housemaid who cannot even cook food, said Rohit. I am also not interested in thieves, said Dolly. I am not a thief. I am a mercenary. Call me mercenary only. It feels stylish, said Rohit. Thief, said Dolly. Mercenary, said Rohit. Thief, said Dolly. Mercenary, said Rohit. Thief, said Dolly. Yes, keep calling me by names now. You have no idea of the joy it gives me on hearing your voice after a long time, said Rohit while feeding Dolly. When you began to lose, you changed the topic. Loser, said Dolly. Rohit finished feeding the girl. How was the food? Asked Rohit. It was all right, said Dolly. I had cooked it, said Rohit. You have learned cooking by now? Remarked Dolly. Yes, said Rohit. Then why are you not making a hotel? You can earn well instead of moving about being a thief and a kidnapper. I am telling you again, I am not a kidnapper or a thief. I am a mercenary. In this world, there are foolish girls like you who run away from their families without telling anything. The police hardly help in such cases. At that time, people hire us to find the girls like you. In many cases, we just end up finding the girls brutally mutilated, explained Rohit. Did any member from my family hire you to find me? Said Dolly. No, replied Rohit. No? Asked Dolly. Yes, no one. After you left, your family considered you to be dead for the family. We found you by accident. We had been hired to loot a house and we came across you, said Rohit. Dolly remained silent with a sad expression on her face. Tears were rolling down her eyes as she wept in silence. Rohit kept feeding her. Dolly rested her head on Rohit's chest with a thoughtful expression on her face. Rohit kept caressing her head to comfort her. About the author. M. Aishvarya, fondly called Maverick Aishvarya by his friends, is a prolific writer. He is currently working as a manuscript writer for movie making.